People have always been curious about the night sky. We gaze in wonder up into the blackness of space to see just tiny points of light. Simple telescopes have aided the human eye to see further into space. More advanced telescopes have been constructed, allowing astronomers to see even deeper into the cosmos. But ground-based telescopes have their limitations. Because of the distortion from the Earth's atmosphere, they cannot resolve crisp, clear images. Therefore, getting a telescope into space was the goal for astronomers. The idea of a space telescope was first conceived in the 1940s. It was officially proposed by American theoretical physicist and astronomer Lyman Spitzer in 1946. Spitzer worked tirelessly to get the support and approval for the space telescope. This advanced tool with advanced capabilities would take the world to the next level of understanding our universe. It wasn't until the 1970s that scientists and engineers developed the concepts for the design of the telescope they called the Large Space Telescope. It would later be renamed the Hubble Space Telescope. In 1977, funding for the project was approved by Congress and the work began immediately. The project began with preliminary grinding for the 2.4-meter primary mirror and 12-inch secondary mirror. Hubble was designed as a general-purpose observatory meant to explore the universe in visible, ultraviolet, and infrared. Astronauts began training for the future service missions. Using large pools, they trained underwater to simulate the weightlessness of space. To get the Hubble Space Telescope into space would require putting it on board one of NASA's space shuttles. However, several setbacks delayed the mission. In 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart shortly after launch, tragically killing all 7 on board. The shuttle program was halted for 32 months while investigations took place. After making improvements to the shuttle design, the program was given the green light again, and Discovery was set to launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, carrying 5 astronauts and the Hubble Space Telescope. Once in low Earth orbit, a large mechanical arm would lift the telescope from the shuttle. Unpredictably, there were issues with stability in the arm that was lifting the telescope, so this process took much longer than anticipated. But eventually, the telescope was deployed into space successfully. But just as scientists got through that situation, there was trouble with the solar panels unfurling. The panels seemed to get stuck before they were fully emerged. But luckily, the brilliant minds at NASA were able to resolve the issue, and the problem was fixed remotely. The panels unfurled into position. Hubble was ready for action. Everyone anticipated the images that Hubble would reveal. As the first images were about to come in, the excitement was building. But quickly, the team realized it wasn't quite what they had expected. The images were blurry. Hubble's primary mirror had an imperfection called a spherical aberration, which affected the clarity of the images. Nonetheless, Hubble produced images more clearly than ground-based telescopes, and despite the blurry images, there were many scientific discoveries brought to light. Astronomers used Hubble's data to accurately determine the age of the universe by measuring distances to Cepheid variable stars. With Hubble, they could dial in the expansion rate of the universe and determine its age to be 13.8 billion years old. But Hubble had gotten a bad rap and was deemed a failure, far from the crystal clear images it had promised. Over the next 3 years, corrective optics were developed to fix the problem with Hubble's mirror. In December of 1993, the first servicing mission was underway. A crew of astronauts was sent into space to begin the arduous task of repairing the telescope. The goal of the mission was to install 2 new instruments that would correct the spherical aberration problem. Spacewalks are dangerous and expensive, but if Hubble was to perform at the level expectation, this mission was absolutely necessary. And so the world waited. The images were clear. The installation of the new lenses fixed the problem, and Hubble was now delivering crystal clear images. The news of Hubble's restored sight came as a sigh of relief to all of those who had worked so hard on this project. Finally, Hubble is a success. From the first dreams of having a telescope in space, through the ups and downs, successes and failures along the way, we have a story about believing in our dreams, having the perseverance and determination to never give up and do what it takes to achieve something that would change the world. Hubble has exceeded our expectations in so many ways. After 3 decades, 5 servicing missions, and more than 1.6 million observations, the Hubble Space Telescope continues to expand our understanding of the universe.